and I welcome you all to the GATE Academy. So, this segment is in continuation of our previous segment where we discussed examples of synonyms and antonyms, the important roots, prefixes and suffixes which often go into formation of so many words, and how we can learn and understand how to quickly learn different words, synonyms and antonyms using these roots, suffixes and prefixes, and some other tricks and shortcuts. Through many different examples, we had learned how to identify the common roots. We had learned how to quickly identify the common sounding or similar meaning words. We had also learned how certain words are used in certain contexts and so on. So now we will discuss some questions that have appeared related to vocabulary, particularly synonyms and antonyms that have appeared in the previous year's GATE examination papers. So let's move ahead. So now we begin discussing the first type of questions related to vocabulary, synonyms and antonyms that appear or have appeared in the previous year's GATE examination papers. The type 1, as you may see, are: select the option closest in meaning to the given word. In the actual question in the GATE exam, a sentence very similar to something like this would be given, that is, which of the options given is closest or very close to the meaning of the word that is given. And then out of the choices, we have to select which particular word out of the 4 options, which particular option is closest in meaning to the word that is given. So let us discuss these questions which have appeared in previous year's GATE exam. So question number 1, the word is circus. It has appeared in GATE 2010 exam. The options are cyclic, indirect, confusing, crooked. The word circus actually is derived from the word circuit. The word circuit, as many of us who are aware of sciences or engineering know, that the word circuit actually means a complete flow of electricity in a sort of a circuit or in a complete closed connection. So a circuit is somewhere related to a circle or a closed loop. So a circuitous word means that when we take a roundabout route towards something and do not go directly towards it in a straight line. So here the correct option is indirect. Cyclic means something that keeps on repeating. Confusing, we very well know what confusing means. Crooked means something that is very uneven, something that may be going up and down, and something that is very uneven. Whereas the word circuitous means something which has a very roundabout route, not going directly towards some place through a straight line. So that's why circuitous means indirect. The next question, the word is inexplicable. It appeared in GATE 2011. The options are incomprehensible, indelible, inextricable and infallible. Now, if you look carefully, inexplicable is formed by using the prefix in and the suffix able. And in between, there is this base word explicate, or from explicate, this word expli has been taken, explic. So explic, as it is evident from here, means to explain something. So as we know that the prefix in means the opposite or taking the negative of the base word. So inexplicable, and we know able means that whether something is able to do something or not. So inexplicable means something that cannot be explained. So here, which of the options are closest in meaning? Something that cannot be explained or something that cannot be easily understood. Incomprehensible is the correct option. Because incomprehensible again is formed through 3 different roots. One is in, the other is comprehend, and the third is bill, IBLE. So in and comprehend and IBLE. So in again means the opposite or of or the negative of. Comprehend means to understand, and able means the ability to understand. So the inability, that is not having the ability to understand, incomprehensible, is closest in meaning to inexplicable. That is something that cannot be easily explained or understood. The word indelible here actually means something that cannot be erased. Again, indelible. Deli means something that can be erased. So indelible is something that cannot be erased. Inextricable similarly means extricate, able and in. That is, to able to extricate something will be extricable. Inextricable would mean something that cannot be extricated or something that cannot be extracted. Infallible similarly means infallible, something that cannot fall. Infallible is often used for people or organizations or groups that stand for their opinion or their thinking or for their rights, and they cannot easily be forced down or they cannot easily be asked to surrender. The next example is the word latitude, which appeared in GATE 2012. Now the options are eligibility, freedom, coercion and meticulousness. Now the word latitude, apart from the meaning in geography, which many of us who have studied geography would know that the word latitude means they are parallel lines which run parallel to the equator, that is the center line of the earth, all the way from the equator to the poles of the earth. But here in general English, the word latitude basically means some degree of freedom. That is, to some extent, some kind of a freedom is given to a person or a group or an organization to do something. So the correct answer here is option B, that is freedom. Eligibility, as we are very well aware, means whether any person or any organization or any group is meeting certain terms and conditions in order to do something or not. Coercion, the word coercion means to actually force someone, the process of forcing to get something done against someone's wishes. Meticulousness, the word meticulousness means the ability to focus on or to care for even minute details while completing a task or a project or an activity, or of caring for minute details. So the correct option here is freedom. Then we come to next option, which is mitigate. Mitigate appeared in GATE 2012. The options are diminish, divulge, dedicate and denote. Now the word mitigate actually means to reduce the extent or to reduce the amount or intensity of something. Like for example, if let's say a person is having a fever or some kind of a pain in the body, so in order to mitigate, that is reduce the pain or reduce the fever, some kind of a medication might be required. So the word mitigate means to reduce the intensity or to reduce the value or to reduce the extent of something that is probably not wanted. Like for example, we say that in the environment in our cities, we need more and more greenery, more and more green trees, so that during the summers, during the hot months of summer, the temperatures can be slightly lowered. So, which of the words matches very closely to mitigate? It is diminish, option E, because diminish also means to reduce in value or to reduce in the extent or intensity of something. Again, divulge, the word divulge means to actually give away some kind of an information or give away some kind of facts. Dedicate, we very well aware, dedicate means that when a person or somebody is very driven towards a cause or someone is very focused on something. Denote means that something is showing something, or let's say there is some kind of an information or some object or symbol which is showing something, that means denote. Then we come to the next example. The word is nadir. Nadir appeared in GATE 2013. The options are highest, lowest, medium and integration. Now the word nadir simply means the lowest point of something. It could be anything. It could be sometimes talking about, let's say, moral or ethical standards in an organization or in a society. It could be the lowest kind of performance of any person or group of organization. It could be anything. So which word meets the meaning accurately? It's lowest. That is option B. Interestingly, there is an opposite of the word nadir which is called zenith. So the word Zenith means the highest point of something, which obviously is the antonym of nadir. Now we come to the next example, the next question, which is primeval. Primeval appeared in GATE 2013, and the options given are modern, historic, primitive, or antique. Now, the word primeval is made from the word prime, which again is derived from the word primitive. So primeval means something that is related to a very, very old time or a very, very early period of history. So primeval means that some kind of a quality or something that comes from very, very old era. Let's say the old Stone Age or the new Stone Age, that type of an era. Or maybe talking about a period of history when perhaps even humans did not exist on this earth. So the closest word in meaning to primeval is option C, that is primitive. Of course, you can say the word antique may also sound closer in meaning, but here antique would mean something that is old, but antique would also mean some kind of a material, some object or something, whereas primeval usually denotes some kind of a property, some kind of a characteristic, some kind of a quality that was there in something that existed a long time ago. So that is what is called primeval. Then we come to the next question, which is question number 7. The word is educe. It appeared in GATE 2015. The options given are exert, educate, extract, and extend. Now, we have all heard of words like reduce, deduce. So this word educe is actually one of the base words of reduce or deduce. Educe simply means to actually get some kind of an information from some other parts of data or from any system. So educe means to actually get. So which word is closest in meaning to educe here? It is option C, extract. Because we often say that we extract information from something. So extract is very close to educe, that is trying to analyze something to get some kind of a meaningful information. It could be some kind of a written thing, it could be some kind of physical thing, it could be some kind of an audio-visual thing. Then the next option is question number 8, which is awkward. Now, here again, this is a question that has appeared in previous year's GATE exams, and the options given are inept, graceful, suitable, and dreadful. Now, awkward is a rather common word that we often come across, and we know that awkward means that anything which is not very comfortable to someone or a group of people or maybe to some organization. So anything that is not comfortable to something else, we say that that thing is awkward to that person or to that other thing. So which of the options is closest in meaning to the given word awkward? It is inept. That is option E. The word inept again is made up of two roots, in and ept. Ept means something that is appropriate or something that very well fits into something or something that is appropriate. And inept means, as we know, the prefix in means doing the opposite of the meaning. So inept means something that is not appropriate, which is closest in meaning to the word awkward. Now, as we very well know, graceful means somebody who has a lot of grace, who behaves and walks and who has a very, very dignified kind of an entire behavior is called graceful. Suitable means something that is suited, which is actually an antonym of the word awkward. And dreadful is something that is very fearful or something to be scared of. So, these are some of the previous year's questions related to synonyms or related to the similar or common meaning words. So, I hope you enjoyed this and this is very interesting learning. So, now we move on to some other types of questions. Now, we begin with another type of questions related to synonyms and antonyms in GATE exams that have appeared in the previous years. The type is basically select the option most nearly opposite in meaning to the given word. So this basically means that a word would be given in the question, and then out of the 4 given options, we have to select that option which is closest as an antonym, or which is closest to opposite of the word. That is, which is the best, most appropriate antonym out of the 4 options given. Now here, there are 5 questions that I have written on the board, but you will realize that the first 3 questions are directly related to questions on antonyms, or selecting the option which is most nearly opposite in meaning. But question number 4 and question number 5 that I have written here are slightly different in terms of their format. They are not exactly questions on antonyms or opposite in meaning, but somewhat related. So let's see. First we come to question number 1. This appeared in GATE 2011. The word is frequency. The options given are periodicity, rarity, gradualness, and persistency. Now, most of us who have studied maths or statistics, or who are from science background, would know that the word frequency means that how frequent or how many times something happens, let's say per hour or per minute or on a daily basis. So frequency, more as a general word in English, means that how frequently or how many times, or the more the number of times something happens, we say the frequency is quite good. Usually the word frequency in common English is used to show more and more number of times something is happening. So here we have to find the word that is most nearly opposite in meaning to the word frequency. So here it should be B, rarity. Because rarity means something, or it could be any process, it could be any state, it could be any event that happens very, very rarely. Maybe once in hundreds of years, maybe once in many years, maybe something that happens once in many months, when it should perhaps be expected to happen much more frequently. So rarity means something that does not happen frequently. So that is why this is the correct answer. Periodicity, the word periodicity means that something that happens on a regular basis, that is after almost equal intervals of time something repeats, but the difference between one repeat to the other might be very long. So people might say that it is not very frequent, but it is still periodic. Gradualness means that something that happens slowly, anything that has the quality of slowly happening. But it is continuously happening, but at a slow pace. So that is what gradualness is. Persistency, of course, means something, it could be a person, it could be an organization, it could be any process, which has the quality that it tends to repeat or it tends to stay. Either something that is happening, something that is there and it is existing, or something that repeatedly happens. So that is something which is called persistent. Often persistency, this word is associated with the quality of a person or a group of persons or an organization which continues to do something repeatedly or continues to have one particular state. They could have an opinion on something, they could continue to do things in a particular way. So that's what is called being persistent. Then we come to next question. The word is amalgamate, and it appeared in GATE 2011. The options given are merge, split, collect, separate. So here, by the way, this should be A. This actually should be S-E-P-A-R-A-T-E, separate, the spelling. So, amalgamate. Now again, many of you might have studied this word in your chemistry or in your sciences. The word amalgamate actually means to mix two or more substances. It could be liquids, it could be semi-solids, it could be gases as well. So whenever two or more substances are mixed to form a new substance, then that process is called amalgamation. Mind you, amalgamate does not mean that there are two chemicals are mixed and some entirely new chemical is formed. This is just a mixture of two or more different substances. So the word that is closest to meaning of amalgamate, that is to mix two or more substances, is merge. Merge, as you very well know, means again to mix or two or more things, or when two or more things come together at the same spot and mix together, that is called merging. Split is actually just the opposite to amalgamate or merge, which means when anything actually breaks into two or more parts, that is called a split. Collect, we very well know what collect means, and separate again means that anything that is either separated or broken into two pieces, or it could be two people or two groups of people going away from each other, that is called separate. The next, third question is coherent. Again, this is a question that has appeared in previous year's GATE question papers. The options given are sticky, well-connected, rambling, and friendly. Now, what is coherent? Again, this is a word that is also related to sciences, particularly the concept of light and optics. So, coherent means something that has one unique quality for a certain period of time, or something that fixes on a particular spot. Let's say if there is a light that is actually focused on a particular spot and it does not change, a property that is close to that is called coherent. But in general English usage, the word coherent describes something that has a clear connection between something that was earlier and something that will come later. Most commonly, let's say there is a piece of writing. Let's say there is something written. It could be a book, it could be a chapter, it could be an article, it could be, let's say, some letter or something. And in the different paragraphs or different chapters or different parts of that text, if there is a very smooth logical flow and people can easily understand that entire piece of writing, then that writing is called, or that particular text is called a coherent text or a coherent writing. So, which word do you think is actually most nearly an opposite to the meaning coherent? So obviously, a word that means that there is no logical flow, that things are haphazard, things are chaotic, things are sometimes here, sometimes there, but there is not a logical or a smooth understanding flow to things, that would be, of course, the correct word. So here, well connected cannot be the correct answer. Friendly is totally unrelated to the word coherent. Sticky, again, sticky has got nothing to do with coherent. Sticky is more related to something that sticks. Now, the word rambling actually means that some person or maybe some creature or something which keeps on saying one thing or the other, or keeps on moving from one topic to another topic without having any logical connect or any logical sequence to the things. So, that is what is called rambling. So, which is exactly opposite in meaning to coherent, or most nearly opposite in meaning to the word coherent. So the correct answer is option C, rambling. Now we come to question number 4. The question number 4 states, which word is not a synonym for the word vernacular? And this appeared in GATE 2015. So which of the following options that means is not a synonym for the word vernacular? Now, the word vernacular basically means the different types of regional things that occur in any society or in any country. Let's say any country has so many different geographies, so many different states, so many different parts of that particular country or society, and all those different regions or parts or geographies of that country would have their own respective cultures, languages, traditions, various ways of life. So the word vernacular is related to language of actually different places within a country or a society. So what do you think is the word that is not a synonym of the word vernacular? So as I said, vernacular is related to the languages of different regions or different parts of any country or society. So the word regional is somewhat close to meaning of vernacular, because vernacular is related to the languages of different regions of a country or society. And here also we are talking about regional, that is belonging to any region of a particular country. Indigenous, now the word indigenous also means belonging to a particular region or place or country, which is again something similar to vernacular, because vernacular again also refers to any particular property or art or culture or custom that is related to any particular region or language. The word colloquial also means an indirect way of saying something in a language. That is, The word colloquial actually means that whenever in grammar or in language we speak or write something not following the very accurate rules or laws of grammar, but say something in a more non-formal or less formal way, that particular practice or that particular quality is called colloquial. Now the word indigent actually means something that is poor. Indigent actually means any person or any group of people who are very poor, who do not have enough financial resources. So as you can very well see that the only word that is in no way related or not even remotely related to the word vernacular is indigent, because indigent directly means poor, whereas all the other three words are related to something related to part of a region or part of a community or part of a language or something. So they are somehow related to language only, whereas this is the word that is not related to language. Now we come to the next question, question number 5. The question says, choose the option with words that are not synonyms. This appeared in GATE 2017. So what does this question ask us? The question says that we have to choose that option where the two words are not synonyms. So as you can see, in each of these options, there are two words given, and 3 of the options would have the words which are synonyms, and only one of the options will have the two words which are not synonyms of each other. So let's start discussing. Option number A, the first word is aversion and the second word is dislike. Now the word aversion also means having a dislike or having an enmity or a hatred kind of a thing for something. So aversion and dislike are actually very closely related synonyms. So option A is rejected. We come to option B. Luminous and radiant. Again, we know luminous also means something that gives light, and radiant again means something that is giving away a lot of light. So again, they are very closely related words. They are synonyms. The third one is plunder and loot. Again, plunder and loot actually are very close synonyms. They mean exactly the same thing. That is to go and forcefully rob some place and take away all the important material wealth or resources or money. Now the fourth option has two words, yielding and resistant. Now resistant is a common word. We know the meaning that anything that resists either change or resists some kind of a force, or it could be a person, it could be a machine, it could be the environment, it could be anything that does not want or tends not to change its state. That thing is called resistant, or that property of that thing is called resistant. Now the word yielding comes from the word yield, which means to give or to produce. So the word yielding is often used in English language to show anything which gives out information or which easily shares information. So as you can see, resistant is related to something that does not give away something easily, whereas yielding means something that easily gives some information or provides something very easily. So these two are the only ones which are somewhat opposite in meaning to each other. Hence, the correct option to question number 5, which appeared in GATE 2017, is option D, yielding and resistant. So I hope you really liked and enjoyed the learning in these types of questions which are related to antonyms or related to words or group of words which are not synonyms of each other. So now we move on to some other types of questions that have appeared related to synonyms and antonyms in the previous year's GATE exam.